Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Chad. So tomorrow, we end up getting an update for Multiverses. Tomorrow, Morty is going to be released. I don't know if there's going to be like a balance patch or anything like that with Morty's release, but I'll be making a video on Morty probably. It just makes sense to at least make videos on the new characters and shit, why not? Especially if they're just going to keep smacking Bugs Bunny over and over and over again. It is what it is. So this is a few days old, but there's actually a list or like a graphic that was made by COD Intel ES. I think it's like a Spanish Intel Call of Duty Twitter. They made this graphic here to show all of the weapons that basically everybody has seen or talked about. Honestly, some of this stuff could be in the game, some of it could not be, you know what I mean? It's kind of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. There's some weird stuff going on in here as well, where like, for example, there's the M4A1, then the M4, then the M16, and I feel like all of those weapons are on like the same platform. I don't even know if we would end up calling it something else. Obviously, the weapons that we've seen in actual gameplay and, you know, the campaign missions and other shit like that that we've seen so far, not to mention all the weapons that we'll literally be able to get to play with throughout the entire campaign early before the game is even out. Now, given there have been some instances, I think, where certain things in the campaign are not over in multiplayer. Hell yeah, brother! What the fuck? He's just shooting his body. Yeah, fuck this guy. Fuck him, yeah! See, weaponless, unless it's, you know, a weapon that everybody is super, super excited for, if it's not like a familiar name, you know what I mean? They don't really mean too much. Like, okay, sure, they could bring the intervention back, for example, and they did. And the intervention is one of the most iconic sniper rifles, mostly because of the memes, to be honest with you. It's also a very common thing where they end up bringing a certain weapon back, something like real beloved, everybody loves it, and for whatever reason, they expect it to be the exact same way that it was before, even if it's on a game that feels completely different as well. Like, the engine can just make a weapon feel completely different from, you know, what you think the weapon should be feeling like, how familiar it feels. They always feel different across these games. There's very few weapons out there that actually genuinely feel the exact same across all of the games that it's ever been on. Even guns that are as simple as like, you know, a default pistol, they even feel different. Some of these weapons, I'll be honest, I don't even recognize, and I mean, this all comes from literally everything that we've seen in terms of gameplay and what we've seen in files. Obviously, any of it can change. Wait a second. Have we seen a riot shield yet? Anywhere? Surely there's gonna be a riot shield in the game. They always have like some gimmicky kind of thing. Have we seen a riot shield yet? Because I mean, looking at this list and whatever, I mean, if it's just going through literally just everything we've seen and heard about, have we even heard about a riot shield yet? I don't see anything about a riot shield or anything. We haven't seen any gameplay or whatever. I remember straight up like seeing the files and everything. I straight up do not remember even hearing about a riot shield or even reading about it. Surely, obviously, there should be like a knife and whatever. That's typical, but I don't know about that. I mean, from the leaked sniper rifles that we got, it seems like we're gonna be getting some pretty fan favorite type shit. Like, for example, I mean, the MSR. I don't think we've ever revisited the MSR in any Call of Duty, have we? So that'll be interesting, and it'll definitely not feel anything close to how the Modern Warfare 3 one felt, because Modern Warfare 3 feels nothing like Modern Warfare 2019, or in this case, 2022. People are like, I can't wait to go and stack with this thing. It's like, dude, it's not gonna be like that. I'm telling you, it's not gonna do that. Not to mention, like, on Modern Warfare Remastered, for example, which did a very good job, you know, replicating how certain weapons felt in comparison to how they used to feel. In the original game, they brought out the S-TAC, which was basically the intervention. It felt nothing like the actual intervention from MW2. Infinite Warfare also had an intervention, which was way different from the MW2 intervention. It was nice and fast, scoped in nice and fast, but it was very, very weak, very, very inconsistent. Crazy amounts of hit markers with it. So I stopped getting excited about, you know, specific weapons a long time ago once, you know, that started happening. It's very foolish of me to sit there and think that it's going to be the same exact thing. People were also asking me if, you know, since it's a 2-year thing, it's also very, very likely that they're going to add some sort of Obsidian-esque type of grind to the game, you know? Maybe they'll add another camo, you know, later into it, just like they did with Obsidian. I did say that I would never do Obsidian again. What I basically mean by that is I'm sure that when I get on the game, I would definitely go for whatever that camo is. I really would. I just wouldn't do it in the same way that I did before. I basically grinded it the same exact way that I did grind. I would just take it a lot slower and wouldn't be nearly as stressed out about it. If there's something else that sounds a lot more fun to go and do, I'm just gonna go and do that. I'm not gonna hard commit to that shit. It was terrible. Also, that House of Dragons episode, shit. Game of Thrones kind of got a little upgrade here. Like, visually, really, really good. It's also shot in a little bit of a different way. It feels like it's shot in a way that's more like a movie than a show. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like Game of Thrones wasn't either, but I don't know, there's like a stylistic difference to it, and I actually really like it. I don't want to hear from people that were trashing the, you know, season ending or whatever. This shit is going directly from the books, from what I know, and I'm pretty sure I've heard direct lines from the book, literally, being said directly. No changes from what I've seen, so there's no way that they're gonna run into this situation again like how they did with the finale, where it feels like it needs to be rushed or changed in any way, shape, or form to fit something. It's just there. The events are already set in stone. There's no making up anything new. It's already there. The story's there. It's done. Now it just needs to be adapted really well, and episode 1 was definitely adapted very well. Visually looked incredible. Dragons looked real good. Yeah, anyway, I mean, you can go and check out all of this stuff, obviously looking at the gameplay and all that shit, but ultimately, even if we know all of these weapons are there, we have no idea what the meta is gonna be. Just because, like, we see an MP5 doesn't mean that this MP5 is now gonna be the best SMG like it was for a giant portion of the life cycle of Modern Warfare. We don't know if MP7 is gonna feel the exact same. Hopefully it will. I loved how the MP7 felt, and then they gutted the thing. The sniper rifles, I'm gonna assume. It says that they've seen an AX-50. The MSR is the one that I am excited for, but I'm kind of worried because usually they have to make a difference between these weapons, and I'm wondering what the shortcoming of the MSR would be in comparison to the AX-50, especially with all the different ways that you can build it, so who really knows how that's gonna go. The Barrett MRAD. The Barretts that we have gotten the past, I don't know how many years at this point, since the newer generation of Call of Duty, every single Barrett has been terrible, or Barrett equivalent. They have just not been good. I mean, Cold War Barrett, a little bit better, I guess, but how slow the Rytech is and shit, like, we don't even want to talk about it. But yeah, Multiverse is tomorrow. Morty will be out, so I'll make a video on him, and we're getting closer and closer to more Call of Duty information and potentially more teasers and other stuff, intel drops that they put out there. I know that they recently did one on Vargas, I think it was, but it didn't really show too much outside of that. Like, we want to see mainly like multiplayer details, so we'll see though.